Russell Wilson just revealed what he is looking for in the Denver Broncos' next head coach. What's up, guys? Welcome to Denver Broncos Syndicate, part of the Sports Syndicate family of channels where we are dedicated to bringing you content about our favorite sports teams. I am your host, Gage Madrid. Before we jump in, guys, if you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you don't miss when we upload. I would really appreciate it. We are just 10 subscribers away from 1,100, guys, so let's see if we can get there by the end of this week. I really believe that that is an attainable goal. The Denver Broncos are in their early stages of their head coaching search, and they're going to be patient and diligent when it comes to finding their replacement for Nathaniel Hackett. The coaching search will be run by Broncos owner and CEO Greg Penner with assistance from general manager George Payton. There will also be several other executives who are going to assist in the process, but at the end of the day, this is going to be Greg Penner's decision to make. Earlier this week, when addressing the media, Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson was asked what he is looking for in the team's next head coach. Now, this is going to be Wilson's third head coach. Of course, Pete Carroll was his head coach all those years in Seattle, and then his second coach wasn't even able to make it through his first season with the Denver Broncos. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the dynamic between Russell Wilson and whoever the Broncos' new head coach is going to be. Now, based on what we know about Russell Wilson, he is one of the most demanding quarterbacks to work with, and not everybody gels with him well. Based on reports, he's somebody that doesn't necessarily take to quote-unquote hard coaching, but at the same time, he's someone who's quite disciplined in his routines and his methods of doing things. When asked what his top desires were in the Broncos' next head coach, Wilson responded with this: "I think what we desire, what we want as players, is we all want to win. We want a winner. We want a person that's going to encourage us and challenge us at the same time. Push us to the furthest edge every day, and also teach us how to be better men every day too. And all that counts. We're excited just to play this game this week. There's so much ahead. There's so much great ahead and so much to look forward to. But as we know now, just enjoy today." Wilson continued, expressing his confidence in George Payton and Greg Penner to find the right guy going forward. And he also dropped a bit of a hint as to who his top target may be. First of all, I know Greg and George, they're going to do a great job, and the executive team upstairs, they're going to do a great job of finding a great head coach. There's some great options, obviously. There's a lot of amazing coaches and brilliant people that have been really successful coaching the game, have gone to Super Bowls, won them, been to them, and have been at the highest level in whatever facet that may be. There's also some brilliant minds too that are younger. The Broncos' top 3 targets in this head coaching search, Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, and Jim Harbaugh, have all been to a Super Bowl in their head coaching career. Payton, of course, is the only one who's actually won a Super Bowl, and that was with the Saints back in 2009. Dan Quinn led the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl back in 2016, where unfortunately we all know what happened there, 28-3. And then Jim Harbaugh led the San Francisco 49ers to back-to-back NFC Championship game appearances in 2011 and 2012, and they were actually able to reach the big game in 2012, only to be defeated by Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, personally, Dan Quinn is probably going to be number 3 on my list, just because of some of his struggles to find coordinators during his time in Atlanta. Once Kyle Shanahan left the Falcons to be the 49ers head coach, Dan Quinn was unable to find a competent offensive coordinator, and he really struggled, surprisingly, as a defensive-minded head coach, mind you, to find a defensive coordinator for pretty much his entire tenure as the Falcons head coach. Dan Quinn is almost somebody that I feel is much better off as a defensive coordinator rather than a head coach in the NFL. Quinn has proven to be a top 3 defensive coordinator in the NFL, quite frankly. But as a head coach, I feel like he is in way over his head. Dan Quinn is a prime example of the Peter principle, in my opinion. He got promoted one too many times. Now, as far as Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh are concerned, we all know that Sean Payton is going to pose some challenges if we want to get him in the Mile High City. The New Orleans Saints still hold his contractual rights through the 2023 season, So if the Broncos, or any team for that matter, were to want to make a move for Sean Payton, they would have to send both financial and draft capital to the New Orleans Saints for them to relinquish his rights. Then, of course, there's Jim Harbaugh, who is the current head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. Rumors have circulated that Harbaugh has been in contact with the Carolina Panthers as well as the Indianapolis Colts about a potential return to the NFL as a head coach. The Broncos have also been rumored to be doing their head coach on Harbaugh. Harbaugh recently released a statement saying that he will likely be the head coach of Michigan next season, but you do have to believe that enough money could talk. Money certainly is not an issue for the Broncos, who have the $70 million deep pockets of Rob Walton and Greg Penner to tap into. We have enough money to be able to offer Jim Harbaugh basically a blank check, and he'd be able to name his own price. I don't know if he'd be able to refuse that offer, but at the same time, there is question as to if Jim Harbaugh is going to want to work with Russell Wilson. Harbaugh is one of those my way or the highway head coaches, and historically, Russell Wilson has not taken well to that style of coaching, see his tenure in Seattle. Now, whoever the Broncos do hire as their next head coach, I feel like they have to find the perfect balance between a player's coach and a hard ass who will be able to get the best out of their players. Vic Fangio and Nathaniel Hackett were two completely different sides of the spectrum in the extreme category. Vic Fangio was a complete and total hard ass who had a really hard time connecting with his players on a personal level. And then there's Nathaniel Hackett, who at times when he really needed to be a tough coach, couldn't do it. He was too much of a yes man and too much of a happy-go-lucky, nothing is wrong head coach. The Broncos need to find a happy medium between those two, and somebody that I feel like would definitely be able to provide that would be either Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh. Dan Quinn, great coach on a personal level, but when it comes to the actual football stuff, I definitely have some questions about Dan Quinn. I'm curious, Broncos country, if Sean Payton is indeed off the table, who is your top target to be the Broncos' next head coach? Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And while you're at it, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL for continuing Denver Broncos coverage. And for now, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.